Caught my wife cheating, filed for divorce, now she wants me back. I handed divorce papers to my wife after finding out she had been sleeping around, and somehow she still thinks she has a chance to fix this. I am sitting at work, frustrated beyond words. I barely got to see my boy this year. Did not have him for summer because of the virus mess, and that just added fuel to the fire. At the end of September, I uncovered that my wife, the woman I had been married to for 5 years, was having an affair. Ever since then, it has felt like I turned into a detective with no off switch, digging through lies that just kept going deeper. I had this woman under my roof, pretending things were fine while inside I was ready to explode. My lawyer keeps telling me to hold off, says the timing is not right. I have not slept in our bed in nearly 2 months. I plan to get rid of that thing the second she is gone. We have not been intimate, which makes her accuse me of cheating. When she tries to touch me, hug me, kiss me, I sit there stiff as a board, sick to my stomach just looking at her. It is like I can see dirt crawling all over her. I want her out of my life, but everything is still not yet, not yet, not yet. I feel like I am sitting in a locked room with someone tapping on a table non-stop until you feel like you are going to lose it. I have nobody I can even talk to because the answer is always the same, just wait. I am mad at myself for being in this spot again, letting someone walk over me like this. I just want it finished. I miss my kid. I got back home late Sunday night after driving over 1,400 miles. Honestly, that was the best part, being far away from her. I was tired, went to my chair and passed out. First solid sleep I had gotten in 2 months. I have lost 15 pounds, feel like hell, and probably look even worse. But I got 8 hours that night. The next day, she tried to get romantic. My body just would not respond to her at all. And let me tell you, my body still works just fine every other morning. It is not physical, it is that my mind, my heart, and even my body are finally on the same page. She got upset, started accusing me again, saying I had to be cheating, that I was not loving enough, that I had not touched her or said anything sweet in over 2 months. Meanwhile, I was the one putting the pieces together behind the scenes. The day everything hit me full force was September 25th. I work in collision repair, mostly with cars that are close to totaled. That day, I sliced open my leg bad enough to need the emergency room. 5 stitches inside, 34 on the outside. No way I was driving on those painkillers, so I called my wife for help. No answer. Waited, called again. Nothing. Texted her, asking her to pick up. Tried again. Still nothing. After an hour and a half, I gave up and called an Uber. As we turned onto my street, I looked up and saw her standing in the doorway of our home, kissing the general manager from her job. I told the driver to stop. They were not just pecking. This was a deep kiss, right there in front of our house. She was supposed to be at work. I pulled out my phone, snapped some pictures, told the driver to keep going. Took me back to the shop, and I sat in the break room for hours, numb, head on the table, just feeling hollow. When the meds wore off, I drove home hurting from my leg and hurting even more from what I had just seen. She showed up a few hours later, acting concerned, making up a fake story about her day. Turns out she has not even worked a Friday in 3 years. I had no idea. I never spent much time online before all this, but I started digging around, trying to find out how people deal with this kind of betrayal. I found forums and videos, and all the warning signs they described matched her exactly. Always glued to her phone, always texting, never available when I call. She had no idea I had tried to contact her that whole night. Did not even look at our chat logs for 2 months. One day she started yelling again, blaming me for not trying hard enough in the marriage. That is when I pulled up our message thread, shoved it in her face, and told her she was not there when I needed her the most. She looked at the screen, then left for hours. Came back with an apology and another lie about being too busy that day. But the truth is she ignored me because she was busy hooking up with her boss right in our house. Since then, I have been watching everything. I found out how to access her cloud backups through one of her old phones. I put cameras up around the house. I had her served yesterday. I could not bring myself to write about it then, but I am doing it now. I left early that morning, grabbed breakfast while waiting for her to leave, rented a truck, went back home, changed the locks. My friend, her husband, and another guy helped me pack up her things. We took the bedroom furniture I bought her for our wedding, the couch, the dining set, everything she tainted, moved it into storage. Bagged up her clothes. I was going to mix the dirty stuff with the clean, but my friend talked me out of it. We finished up around 11 in the morning. I bought flowers and chocolates, drove to her job. Walked in, gave her the gifts, hugged her, kissed her. She lit up like a kid on Christmas. Her co-workers thought it was adorable. I told her I would love to take her out for lunch but had to get my leg checked. Told her not to make plans that evening because I wanted to give her a night to remember. Kissed her again, then walked away. From here on out, I'm going to call her Boss Tom or maybe just Foot, because that feels more fitting now. As I was leaving her office, I spotted him and gave him a big smile like nothing was wrong, waved, and said, "Hey Tom, how are you?" Then I walked out and went to grab lunch. At 2 o'clock sharp, a deputy was scheduled to show up at her workplace and hand her the divorce papers. At that exact time, I was standing outside Foot's house. I sent him the photo I had taken when I caught them kissing, along with a fresh selfie of me right in front of his place. I knocked, and his wife answered. She knew who I was from a few work events, so I told her plainly that her husband and my wife were having an affair. She did not believe me at first, so I showed her the picture I took of them together, and then I showed her another one where they were lying on my couch like nothing mattered. She slapped me hard, stood there crying, and I just waited. I gave her a thumb drive with every file, every screenshot, and every detail I had gathered. I told her the truth, that my wife had been sleeping with multiple men, and she should get herself tested. I gave her my lawyer's business card and my phone number. She asked why I would do this to her, and honestly, I did not have a good answer. I knew I hurt her, and I felt awful for being the one to break her like that. I told her she deserved the truth, and that is all I could offer. After that, I left, and that is when my phone started lighting up non-stop. I ignored every call and message and just headed home. First thing I did was update my social media status to divorced. When I finally looked at her messages, she was panicking, asking what I was doing. I responded once, telling her she could come by at 7 in the evening to get her belongings, not a minute before. I guess Tom did not fill her in right away, probably too busy cleaning up his own mess, but eventually, she found out because she sent me another message full of anger, blaming me for exposing everything to his wife. Then Amber, the friend who had been covering for her, started calling. I picked up and got straight to the point. I asked how long she had known about the affair. Told her not to lie. She admitted she had known since before my wife and I were even dating. The whole time, I was just the other guy. The whole marriage was a joke, and I was the punchline. That hit hard. I asked her why she never told me, and she said they were worried I would react badly or become violent. I reminded her that she knew me better than that. She said she kept it quiet out of loyalty to my wife. I asked her if the roles were reversed, and she knew her husband was cheating, would she not want to be told? She said yes. So I sent her pictures my wife had taken of her and her husband, sent her my lawyer's contact info, and told her to never speak to me again. Around 4 o'clock, my wife showed up and found the locks changed. She started banging and yelling. I ignored it. When she called, I shut off the ringer. Then she smashed a window and left. Right before 7 o'clock, 2 deputies pulled up outside, one of whom helped me move her things earlier. His wife came too. 7 hits, and my wife showed up looking like life had knocked the wind out of her. I am pretty sure she and Amber had already fought it out. I handed her the key to the storage unit, the address, her clothes, and my lawyer's card. I told her clearly that from this point on, she should only contact me through legal channels. She started crying, saying she still loved me, that we could fix this, that she made a mistake, that she never loved the other men, that it did not mean anything. I did not say a word, just pointed to the card. Then she got mad, yelling that it was her house too, and I could not just throw her out. I told her it was my home and that she destroyed her right to it with her choices. That is when she really lost it. All the sweet words turned to screaming and name-calling. The deputies turned on their lights, and the neighbors came outside to watch the whole thing. I kept my cool, hands by my sides, while she kept yelling. I think she might have been drunk. She started crying again, saying she had nowhere to go. When I told her that I did not care, she hit me real hard. Split my lip and bloodied my nose. I did not hit back. I just stood there. She tried to scratch me too, but the deputies grabbed her. I said I was not pressing charges, just wanted her gone. They filed an incident report so I could file a restraining order if needed. Funny thing is, I am almost glad she did it. When I finally got back inside, trying to clean myself up, all the emotions I had pushed down for weeks finally caught up to me. I was completely worn out. People think you feel relief after something like this, but I didn't. I cried more than I ever have. I am not someone who usually cries, but I have done plenty of it since that night. I looked at my phone and saw nearly 600 missed messages and calls, and the number was still rising. I decided to cut off everyone we used to hang out with. No mutual friends. I do not want anyone playing middleman. I will figure out who to deal with later. I didn't even call my son that night. I usually talk to him every evening, but not this time. I will call him tonight. He probably won't be too upset, he never really liked her. I met with her and her attorney the next day. I didn't walk away with everything I hoped for, but I got what mattered. We agreed on an uncontested divorce, which should be final in a couple of months. That is the only good news in all this. I feel a little lighter, but honestly, I am still just incredibly sad. She barely looked at me during the whole thing. I would like to think she could not face me, that she felt ashamed. Her lawyer seemed decent, knew it was a tough case. They asked if there was a chance for reconciliation. We let the question sit for a moment, but we both knew it was just a formality. Her lawyer had her write out everything she had done, but what she wrote down was far less than what I already knew. My attorney showed her photos from the house cameras and asked who the two unknown guys were. She had not mentioned them in her statement. They pulled us out of the room, and I heard raised voices from her lawyer. When we came back in, she gave a more honest version. She admitted those were online hookups from recently. She confessed that she had been sleeping with Tom, or Foot, for nearly the entire time I had known her. Said she ended it when I proposed but picked it back up about a year into the marriage. I asked if she had ever been loyal. She admitted she slept with Amber's husband, my co-worker, during our 4th of July barbecue back in 2019, right under my nose. She said she didn't care about him, just liked the thrill. This year, she got even more reckless, meeting guys from online sites, probably even doing quick meetups in parking lots, but I stopped asking at that point. I had the lawyers leave the room so I could ask her something in private. I didn't ask why she cheated. I asked why she married me if she never really wanted me. She said she loved me. Said I was good to her, gave her stability, and I was good in bed, but that she had loved Tom for over 10 years. He would not leave his wife, and she was running out of time, so I was the fallback plan. She said I made her happy, but she still wanted what she wanted. Turns out they both got fired. Amber made a scene at work. I didn't have to say a word. My soon-to-be ex is staying with her parents now. I do not know what is going on with Tom and his wife. I was told to stay out of it. I think he is trying to keep his marriage together. If he does, I may have to speak with him eventually. Then she dropped something else. She told me she had an abortion 2 years ago because she did not know who the father was. That one cut deep. At the beginning of our marriage, we tried to have a baby. We eventually decided to stop trying and just enjoy our time together, but I would have loved a daughter. We were not using protection. That child could have been mine. I will never know. That was too much. I got up and walked out of the room. People talk about dodging bullets, but all I could think about was that she might have ended my child's life. Anyone who has boxed knows that after enough punches, you stop feeling them. You are still taking damage, but you just go numb. That is where I am now. She could tell me she caused the Great Chicago Fire, and I would not even blink. I walked back in and told the lawyers to go with Plan B. That meant dropping alimony demands so we could finalize everything quickly. I almost wanted to say she could make things right by undoing all of her choices, but what is the point of saying something impossible? The abortion broke something in me. I do not want any part of her in my life, not even through a monthly payment. So at 5:43 in the evening, she signed. In about 2 months, it will be over for good. I keep the house, my retirement accounts, all of my property. No alimony for either of us. She gets $73,000 from our savings and is never to contact me again. And that is it. I do not care what happens to her. I do not want to know. I hope for her sake and for anyone she meets next that she sees a therapist, but I am done caring. I do not feel lighter. I do not feel free. I just feel done. At this point, all I want is silence, just a bit of peace, nothing more. Lately, I have been thinking back on my life, on every choice I have made, and I cannot seem to find many moments where I did things right, only a list of places where I went wrong. I know this is not the healthiest mindset, but it is what I am left with now. If there is any silver lining, I guess it is that I managed to keep my things this time around, but one thing is certain, I am never going through this again. The official divorce decree finally showed up in the mail today, delayed a bit thanks to the snowstorm that swept through. Oddly enough, I did not feel much of anything when I saw it. A few friends suggested celebrating, but I never thought the end of something I once believed in should be celebrated. To me, it feels more like a quiet defeat. I suppose the full impact will hit me later, maybe on some random day. My ex called me today, and I actually answered. I figured everything is already done, so what more could happen? She sounded worse off than I am. She did not offer an apology. She said there was no point, that it would not change anything. I am not even sure if she feels bad about what she did, but honestly, it does not matter anymore. Her parents are where it gets complicated. My son is the closest thing they have to a grandchild, and he has asked me if it is alright to stay in touch with them. I am okay with that, but the tricky part is figuring out how to talk to them without her being part of it. They have a way of turning everything into chaos. Her father was someone I actually liked. For my son, they are the only real relatives he has on that side, and I want him to have a sense of family, even if it is messy. On a lighter note, I named my little dog Dulce, thanks to whoever suggested that name. It fits her perfectly. She kept me warm through that snowstorm, 5 straight days without power or heat, and she curled up beside me every night like a little heater. As for me, I am going to take a long break from all this, maybe until I am ready to date again or at least open up to the idea of something casual. For as long as I can remember, there has been a voice in my head whispering that I was not truly loved, that she would leave, and that I would end up broken. Now it is not a whisper anymore. It is loud. And maybe that is a good thing. I need space, and I am finally giving it to myself. I wish the best to everyone out there going through similar stuff. Just because someone let us down does not mean we are worthless. Stay strong. I care about all of you. I started therapy back in July, and it has been helping. This last round of betrayal forced me to deal with more than just this marriage. There are things I have carried for years that I am finally facing. One thing that keeps coming up is my sister. She is the last immediate family I have left. Everyone else is gone, my parents, my brother. And even though I cut her out years ago, I find myself wanting to talk to her again. I want my son to know someone from my side of the family who is actually blood, not just close friends I call aunt or uncle. My first experience with being cheated on cost me that connection. I want to try to get it back. If she is open to a conversation, I will have it. I think my cousin might help set that up. I know I have always preached about walking away from people who do not have your back, but it has been nearly 30 years. That is long enough. My therapist supports me trying to repair things, but I still need to find the nerve to make that first move. I cut everyone off for a reason, but I am tired of carrying it. I think I was right to walk away, but I do not want to keep doing this forever. I have full custody of my son now, and I want to give him some kind of normal life. I do not miss my ex-wife. I do not miss the first one either. But I do miss my sister. I let my first wife dictate too many of my relationships. I feel like I am being haunted sometimes, not by her, but by the choices I made because of her. Maybe if I can rebuild a piece of what I lost, I will finally feel like I am moving forward. I am not stuck on my ex. I am stuck on the time I lost. And before anyone asks, no, I do not know how she is doing. I have not spoken to her. I do not know what Amber is up to, and I do not want to. She is gone from my life like a bad memory that fades over time. Same with the rest of them. I only care about one thing when it comes to those people, and that is not something I plan on sharing. In 1 hour, it will be exactly 1 year since I served my wife those divorce papers. I woke up feeling alright today, went for a jog, made breakfast for my son, and got on with my workday. Everything was going fine until around 10:30 in the morning when I got called into the office. Turns out, there was a box of cookies delivered to me from her. Same thing she sends every year. I told the folks at work they could help themselves. One of our customer service reps asked who they were from, and I told her. No one has touched them. I am a little annoyed that someone gave her my new work info. Still, I am in a decent mood. She always finds some sneaky way to remind me she is still around. Her favorite trick is being late on her car payment, so the finance company reaches out to me. This is just another one of those things. I got home tonight and my friends had thrown a surprise barbecue. They had beer, food, everything. I was genuinely surprised. They said they figured I might need cheering up, but aside from the cookie stunt, it was actually a pretty good day. That little party was the perfect way to close it out.